We have some big news at Marketing AI Institute and some news that has some kind of wider implications for the marketing industry and business as a whole. So, in the last year here, we at Marketing AI Institute have presented to and talked with thousands of marketers and business leaders. And Paul, I know you and I have seen just firsthand like how executives are scrambling to adapt and devise AI roadmaps. And they face all these complex challenges to adopting AI, things like lack of talent, legacy tech stacks, crazy expanding AI tech landscape, fear of change, industry regulations, privacy, security concerns, mounting competitive pressure, and more. Now, what's become clear from all of this is that our mission here at Marketing AI Institute needs to evolve to pursue what we're calling this North Star of, quote, accelerating AI literacy for all. I believe that's how you put it in a recent post, Paul. And
Mm.
basically, what this means is that we at Marketing AI Institute believe that you can build a smarter version of any business through a responsible human centered approach to AI, but that success requires commitment to AI education and training across the organization. Now, we at Marketing AI Institute hope to play a part in this in moving human centered AI forward across industry. And the first step, which we announced last week, is accelerating AI literacy through a significant expansion of our online education programs. This includes two new AI course series, Piloting AI 2024 and Scaling AI 2024, plus a completely reimagined AI Mastery membership program. Now, Paul, before we get to kind of the why here, let's talk about the what. Can you talk to us a little bit more about these new courses and the membership that are about to be made available to our audience?
I mean, it's sort of a continuation of what we set out to do. So, I told the story up front about how we got started in AI, like out of a curiosity and a specific problem we were looking to solve for clients and for the agency. Um, but by 2016, when I started the Marketing Institute, like the way I looked at it was we weren't uniquely capable of building AI. We weren't uniquely capable of necessarily building services around it because we didn't have highly technical people and engineers and data scientists within our agency. But we were storytellers by trade. And that's what we did for clients. It's what we were trained to do. It's what we went to school for. And so the Institute initiated as, well, let's tell the story of AI and let's see if other people are intrigued by it. And if they are, we'll build something around this. We'll figure out how to like help people along. So that whole idea of approachable and actionable was the original mission. How do we make it accessible to people? That then led to November of 2021. So a year prior to ChatGPT, I introduced this thing called the Million Marketer Challenge, where we were like, okay, there's 13 million marketers worldwide. Let's get a million of them aware of AI. Like, let's try and like get people aware of it to take some first step, take a class, read a book, whatever it was. Didn't have to be our stuff, just anything. So we introduced Intro to AI for marketers. And I started teaching this free 30-minute class every 3 weeks on Zoom. So that class became our like entry point to help people understand this. To date, I think we've had over 17,000 people register for that class. I think I've done 33 of those. And I've told this story before. Like, to me, it was kind of like building a band. Like, you're going to show up and there's going to be 10 people there. And then
Mhm.
sometimes you'll show up and there's 100 people there. And then all of a sudden, ChatGPT shows up and we have 1,000 people there. And so that whole million marketer challenge was sort of like became unnecessary as a pursuit because ChatGPT took care of that for us because a million marketers tried ChatGPT in like the first 72 hours. So for us, it's always been about how do we make this information accessible? But what happened is after ChatGPT, it wasn't just marketers calling. Everyone started calling. So I was talking to heads of VC firms, presidents of universities, provosts at universities, heads of school systems, like, K through 12 school systems, government leaders, association leaders, like everyone started calling, asking, can you come talk to us about this? And that's what led you and I, Mike, last year to spend a good portion of our year on the road meeting with all kinds of people, not just marketers, like everything, lawyers, accountants, CEOs. And so in that process, we started to really realize how unprepared the world is for what is happening. And not, again, not just marketing leaders, but CEOs of major corporations. I mean, we have done talks. I'm not going to name drop here, but like we have done talks to some of the biggest brands in the world, like in the last 12 months. We have sat down with executives from some of these major brands. And again, truly firsthand heard the questions they have, the challenges they are facing, the fears that they and their employees have around this stuff, the uncertainty about what comes next. And so that led to, okay, we need to keep doing the intro thing, but we need to expand it. We need to, like, it can't just be for marketers anymore. We have to really start thinking
Mm.
about how do we bring this to more people. Um, the piloting AI course that we launched last year, I mentioned at the opening, we had over 800 people took that course in 2023. So it's like, okay, let's get that updated, because by like fall of 2023, we were getting the questions, well, when were these courses recorded? Like, are they still relevant? So it's like, okay, we have to every year, let's update piloting. Like, we know that's a really helpful thing to get people started. So you take the intro course, then what do I do? Okay, here's the piloting series. It's 18 on-demand courses. In 8 hours, you can go get a professional certificate and you can be advanced. We have also always known there needed to be something beyond piloting, which was scaling AI. And so I announced plans for that, I think at MayCon 2022. I think I said we're going to build this. It just took a year. And so we're now in the midst of building the scaling AI course, which is for kind of director level and above, or people within AI councils. It's designed for the people actually going to do this stuff. So it gets into how to build an AI council, building your AI roadmap, generative AI policies and responsible AI principles, state of AI. It's really more for the leadership level. And then the final piece of what we announced last week is this idea of AI mastery as a membership. Because what we'll often hear is, hey, we took piloting, it was awesome. How do we stay on top of this? How do we actually like keep applying this knowledge? And so I realized like we had to reinvent what our membership model was to be much more about competency and mastery of these topics. And that's where the idea came, like, okay, let's start doing like quarterly demo days where we're showing the technology being applied to specific use cases. Let's do ask me anything sessions every quarter where people have a chance to actually get in and learn this. Let's do a state of each quarter where like, what are the trends that matter this quarter? And so that's really what the education program became. And then in the process, as you were saying, this AI literacy for all, it's like, I mean, I journal stuff. So I don't know if other people work like this. This is how my mind works. Like I'll go give a talk, to a, like there was one in particular, it was a major technology company, like a Fortune 100 technology company. And I'm like on the flight back thinking, that that was like wild, like to hear a company that has been doing AI for 20 years, like at
Mm.
least 20 years, but not within the operations and the marketing and the service and the sales of the company. They were doing it in the technical side and the product side. And to realize even a company like that doesn't have the knowledge they need. And then like the next day you go meet with the president of a university. It's like they don't know how to integrate this into classrooms and how to find professors to even teach this stuff. And then you go talk to like a nonprofit, like a board I'm on, and they're like, how do we use AI? And so what I realize is like we have this kind of broad knowledge. The listener base and the audience for the podcast is not all marketers, not even close. Like we hear from
Mm.
people all the time on LinkedIn, reach out to you and me, Mike, who are not marketers. And so it really started to evolve as I was journaling my thoughts after different meetings or random times. This AI literacy for all just really kind of kept coming back to me of like, we need to do more. Like there's such an urgency right now to help people understand this and to help prepare other professionals to go out and educate. Like it can't be all us. Like there's nothing about our model that has ever been, hey, we're gonna like keep this all in house and no, we're not gonna share what we know and we want to make it proprietary so we can make as much money as we want. I don't care about that stuff. Like we're building a really good business. It's a very strong business now. It wasn't a year ago, but like we're in a very good place from a business perspective. And my feeling is we don't focus on our revenue, our growth. We focus on telling the story to have the greatest impact, and all that other stuff takes care of itself. Now,
Mm,
don't get that mix of like I don't like run the business, to be a profitable business. We do, but it is not why we do what we do.
mm.
And so I think that all the time we're spending on the road, all the time we're investing in free education and training through like our intro course and like speaking series. It's just like where we're going. And the thing I said in that post was marketing institute and the marketing industry are just the beginning. Now, I'm not going to announce like other stuff that's coming right now. It's not the time for it. But there are other things that we're going to be announcing probably in the next like I don't know, like 2 months or so that'll make it a little bit more clear and tangible what AI literacy for all really is going to mean. But I just think it's really important that we think about that as a North Star. But if you're like a listener to this show, that maybe you think about what role you can play in that too, because we have to get companies prepared. We have to get governments prepared. We have to get nonprofits and associations and like school systems. Like all these people need to understand AI at a deeper level so they can figure out what it means to their domain, their industry, their business. And that's going to take a whole like community of people moving in the same direction.
That is a great rundown. And the final note I would add to that is that if you do want to explore some of these options for yourself and your team, they're all right on the website. If you go to marketingainstitute.com, click on education, you can see intro to AI, piloting AI, scaling AI, and the mastery membership all right there. So you can learn a little more about everything that Paul just ran through.
And the other thing I'll say is like we have a marketing AI conference, Macon, coming up September 10th to the 12th. And I would really encourage you to like be there. Like if you want to be a part of this, like this kind of broader vision of like, okay, let's spread AI literacy as fast and far as we can. That's probably like the next point where we're going to get those kind of people together. And
Mm,
that's part of the value for me and like why I love running the event is to see the community sort of like emerge and spread with us just facilitating the meeting of people.
mm.
And I've heard so many stories about like businesses being started from people who've met at Maycon. The community you see, like Slack community now is over 5,000 people. Just like the way people are interacting and starting to kind of take it and run and make it their own. And so I would say, like, if you can be at Maycon, do that. And then as we announce some of these other things, like hopefully you'll find a spot that you can get involved and start, really being a part of expanding AI literacy within your network and your community.